Aware of the Eco-Modernist Manifesto, and in particular the idea of the proposal to decouple human consumption from natural ecosystems in order to protect them, and what do you think of this? Okay, let's move on. We often see people growing fruit, vegetables, farming animals, but very little mention of growing grains. Is there any move towards growing grain again in the Wairarapa?
I think grains are a critical component of the... Well, let's put it this way. I think grains could be a critical component in the Wairarapa landscape. The fact of the matter is the Wairarapa landscape is underutilized. There's a broad lack of diversity. Is there anybody going to grow grains? I always wanted to grow grains. I've never had the opportunity. I've been guiding some people with growing grains. And the truth is, there are grains being developed in the US that are perennial grains, and you sow them once and you harvest them for the next 5 to 10 years. All you need to do is harvest them. There's a lot of scope for this sort of stuff. It's just one of the components that needs to be fixed in. Which brings me to actually one of the biggest issues, and that is, where are the growers? There are not enough growers. If we don't start training some young people and give them the feeling that there is satisfaction in living on the land, then we're going to be in trouble, and all this talk is futile, really. There was this money-related question about the economy earlier on, and I do want to really feel I want to address that, because Josh and I, we studied these challenges earlier on. We made a conscious decision that living off the land and addressing consumerism is a critical aspect. Perhaps it will give us a hard time, but if we don't lead by example right now, then our kids wouldn't have a future. We knew that, and we're still facing the same issue. It was an easy choice between making lots of money or living off the land and trying to build a community around food and soil quality. It wasn't hard at all. And having raised our children in that environment, it now means that we have got a future, because our children, they don't know a doctor, we've never seen a doctor, they are independent, they can live off the land, and I'm pretty damn certain that they will create a community around them that is going to be independent and interdependent, as Helen is talking about. And from that perspective, not choosing for money was a real easy decision. There is a future, and what is the nicest thing to see is that there's clusters of youngsters gathering around them, which I haven't seen in 20 years, clusters of youngsters gathering around them that have the same mentality. There's a whole lot of young people that are seeing the issues and they want to address the issues. And I'm so pleased that I find myself in the middle of them, and that I can talk shop to them, literally. The other side of it is we've been growing vegetables, and we've had people in our community buying the shares. There's young couples in there. I've seen them having babies, and I've seen the kids growing up. And I see the parents coming onto the property, dive with the children into the chiller, and the little kids dive into the bags and grab a carrot, and the enthusiasm with which they eat that carrot, it's just giving me goosebumps. I've grown that kid from my soul. Hello! I've grown that kid from my soul, and there's nothing more satisfactory than that. Money's nothing, honestly. not compared to this.
Okay, so stepping that up a notch.